Striped bass with braised broccolini. I'm here in my garden. It's a beautiful day, and I'm cooking. I'm cooking an easy and delicious dish that you can cook almost anywhere. So what am I doing? I am doing striped bass with broccolini, a nice fillet of striped bass. The fillet could be a nice fillet just like that. Make sure it's fresh. Or you can have a thicker fillet, or you can have, you can do salmon, you can do halibut, you can do everything. So let me just score it a little bit, just like that. Otherwise, the fish will curl up. So this way, it relaxes, the skin doesn't pull and curl up the fish. You know, sometimes fish, especially if you have a nice fine fillet like this, breaks readily. So let's make a nice portion, 2 portions like that, and we can handle it easily. A little bit of vegetable oil because we're gonna sort of fry the fish first. Let me just salt it a little bit, just like that. Not too much. And I'm gonna flour it, just nice and easy. Can you do it without the flour? You could, absolutely. But I feel that flour gives some taste, but also will hold the fish together. The oil is nice and hot. So let's put the skin in first. Just like that. And once you have the fish in, don't move it. Let it form that crust. So let's go and do the broccolini. So these are the broccolini. How do you clean this broccolini? Very simple. You sort of cut part of the stem and you just pull outer skin off, just like that. So what other vegetables could you use? I mean, anything that you have that's in season. You can use asparagus. You can use regular broccoli. You can use spinach. Just be aware of the cooking time of each vegetable. This is a little bit too big, maybe. I'll cut it in half like that. So they're all the same size, more or less. Just cut it in small florets. You know I don't like to waste anything. So let's use these little stems. Let me cut them up, and I'll throw them right in with the broccolini. So let's see how the fish is doing. It looks like it's nice and brown on one side. And again, when I flip it, I leave it there. I don't move it around because the fish is sensitive and you want a nice crust. One thing about fish is, actually there's 2 things that I want you to remember. Super fresh, it has to be fresh, and then do not overcook your fish. Let's check in on this fish. I think it should be done. It is, perfect. So let me get the fish out of here. Put a little bit of salt. When it's nice and hot like that, what happens is that, the heat dissolves the salt and it's absorbed. The bees are coming around. They know when something good is cooking. So the vegetable oil, I'm gonna throw it out. Now I put some olive oil in there because this is what we're going to really eat. So let me throw the broccolini in there. Just like that. If you will, in there. And I'm going to make a little hot spot. And, you might wonder, well, why didn't you put the garlic in first? Well, because the broccoli takes a little longer, I think, and I didn't want the garlic to burn. I'm gonna put a little bit of more oil, make a little corner here, and get the garlic. Do we like a lot of garlic? Yeah, I like a lot of garlic, a lot of flavor. I'm gonna put some salt, of course. Okay, let's get a little peperoncino. And just a little bit of water. The broccolini are thick, they need a little bit of water to cook. Just enough to steam them, and the water will evaporate. Also, for flavoring, I like a little bit of lemon peel. You just want the rind, you don't want the pith. The pith is the bitter part. Let's put it in here. Okay. Full speed ahead. I'll put the lid on and let this cook away. The olives, after they were harvested, they were put on a horse-drawn cart, my grandmother's horse-drawn cart, and it would be taken to the olive oil mill, if you will, the communal press. And what happens is that they crush the olive into a pulp so that they can get everything out. Then this pulp, if you will, is put between like lifesavers of jute, you know, one after another. You put like a lifesaver of jute, then some of this pulp, then another lifesaver of jute, then, and so high about 10. And then it was squeezed, pressed, if you will. And the oil and the water was dripping on the sides of this lifesavers into a container around it, which had a spout, and then this would run into a bigger container where it would separate because, again, the olive oil is lighter, and it would float. And it was taken home like that. At home, you allowed the olive oil to rest, I remember, and at the bottom there would be a sediment, but they would leave it like that. At that point, olive oil is still a little murky, and it has this intense flavor of vegetation plus olive oil. We really appreciated it, that fresh vegetable flavor of the olive oil of that first pressing. I think the broccolinis are done, absolutely. A little bit al dente, so let's start to serve them. Okay, I would put the broccolini down first, just like that. The fish is nice and juicy. I told you, don't overcook it. Just a little piece for me. You know, I have to taste it. And I think, you know, would I like a little bit of lemon? I think I would. Okay. Just drizzle a little bit on this one. A little bit on this one. And a little bit on me for Lidia. Let me taste it so I can tell you exactly how it is. Delicious, crunchy, good, and a nice glass of chilled white wine, and maybe just a drizzle of olive oil. I think I'd like that. You know, I like my olive oil. Just a little bit like that. Absolutely. That's enough. And I'm gonna cut some lemons because I think I love cutting the lemons just like that in half, nice big. So each person takes half of it, and voila. Okay. This looks like a pretty good table under the grape trestle in my backyard. Nice and refreshing, good glass of wine, some crunchy bread. You'll have a great meal. Fish always seems to be a little touchy recipe with people, you know. Oh, how am I gonna prepare this fish? And it is, it's very delicate. The important thing is that it is fresh and that it is not overcooked. But, you know, fish, you need to make a complete meal. And making it with broccolini, a little bit of olive oil, making it in the same pan, you have a great meal and you flavor everything. The fish with the broccolini and the garlic and oil, and the broccolini with the fish is delicious.